As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to dominate the news, it's not surprising people are looking for a way out, for signs that we may get back to normal. But this is no passing storm. The old ways may never return. All the signs instead point to fundamental changes wrought on a scale we've not experienced since the Second World War. And this time it's truly worldwide. One thing we've discovered is that actually we are a human society. We don't just like being together, we need each other. Our mutual dependencies have been starkly realised. Many whose roles have been barely visible have suddenly been declared key workers. Among the many cliches we hear, "We're all in this together," has frequently been trotted out, but of course it's only half true. We are all vulnerable, but some of us are much better protected than others. But this is also true of our protection for later life. Some have assurance of a sizable guaranteed income. Others depend upon whatever accumulates in their pension pot. Defined benefit, DB pension schemes, especially the final salary variety, have cross-subsidies built in between high flyers and perennial low earners, and between long servers and early leavers. These are classic pooled or collective arrangements. In contrast, members of defined contribution, DC schemes, are on their own, little or no risk sharing. The era of dichotomous or bipolar DB or DC thinking is coming to an end though. Final salary is defunct, too expensive, as younger generations will surely find out when the true overburden of unfunded public service pensions reveals itself. The pendulum of employer preference has swung to the other extreme. Money purchase pensions with the minimum contributions possible. By common consent here, 8% is not going to amount to a row of beans for most members at retirement. In these very uncertain times, which have brought us closer in spirit, if not in person, we should take the opportunity to think carefully about how we want to live in future. A more just and compassionate society depends on a preference for collaboration over everyone for themselves, in pension provision as in everyday life. We need something which capitalises on the benefits of the pooling principle, where the risks are shared and employers are not asked to write blank cheques for scheme funding. Interestingly, most employers have already moved in that direction. Prior to the advent of auto-enrolment in 2012, they favoured GPPs, group personal pensions, but now most are using master trusts, which are occupational, mostly money purchase pension schemes. And these are large multi-employer schemes, which attract smaller employers in particular because of the economies of scale in administration and fund management costs. Some larger employers prefer to retain more say over the running of their pension scheme, so for the time being, bespoke occupational money purchase schemes still exist, although the pensions regulator is keen on corralling them via consolidation. Most master trusts are fairly new, having arisen in response to auto-enrolment, and so the focus has been very much on the accumulation or saving phase. What happens when a member wants to take their benefits? They're told to either buy a lifetime annuity, not popular, cash out, popular but often not a good idea, or opt for drawdown, which is risky and sometimes requires transferring out to a new provider. Financial advice should be more commonly chosen, but people won't pay for it. The solution on the horizon is a collective defined contribution CDC scheme, which could pay the member an income for life, which is what most say they want. But to be viable, a CDC scheme ideally needs lots of members very quickly, for example from large single employer schemes such as the Royal Mail, for whom the concept is being given a legislative framework in the Pension Schemes Bill. But CDC has wider appeal, which is why provisions in clauses 47 and 98 of the bill enable the DWP to open the CDC model to multi-employer schemes, such as master trusts. At the moment, they don't offer a pension. The current pandemic will force employers to find the cheapest ways of fulfilling their auto-enrollment duties, which puts a premium on pooled arrangements such as master trusts. Members of master trusts will become acutely interested in their options as they near retirement, especially if their pot has been diminished. But they might blanch at the charges and risks associated with drawdown. So what to do? For both employers and employees, the ideal increasingly looks like a marriage between a master trust for saving when working and a CDC scheme for spending when retired. To make this happen, we need to encourage master trusts to come together and press the DWP to make the necessary regulations. Will you become one of the advocates?